been a minute since
Hey guys, Tony here from Haunted Expeditions. Tonight we are out at Old Gray. They're doing a festival here. I'm going to walk around, show you all some of the stuff here. They have some reenactors, and we're going to see if we can get some of the stories of Old Gray here. But follow us, guys, and see what we get. Yeah.
They sent me on a trip, and it would take a little bit longer than what I was supposed to. My dad died when I was 28, and so I got a few jobs with different railways, and I would ride the rails. Cheap fares, I could go where I wanted to. So you're probably wondering, why am I such a big deal that I get my own flag, unless my dumb brothers already told you. Did they tell you about the football game? Well, so of my accomplishments, I brought, the family thinks this is a big deal, I brought the old Colonel's bones back from Harrisburg, Kentucky. He'd been buried there 60 years. Everybody thought it was a big deal. Frankly, I just wanted to get out of Knoxville and getting good with the family, family fortune. So get a little bit of credit from them. Other things I did was I was treasurer at Yale, treasurer of the United States under Taft, and that got me flush with cash, so I went around the world. And in 1914, I was in Europe when Franzi got killed in Sarajevo and the Great War broke out. World War I, for you.
I did go to school.
Great. So I ended up catching typhoid fever, and I died in London. Of course, my brother tracked me down, found me before I died, and ultimately brought my body back dodging U-boats to bury me back here in Knoxville, where I never really wanted to be in the first place. But
Here you are. Went to great trouble to get you.
Great thing that I did that all the men are going to remember, and you might swoon. So be careful. Is in that, remember that game I was talking about on Thanksgiving Day against the Princeton Tigers? Oh, they were mean and nasty and ugly, and it was sloggy and messy. And we get out there, and we're going at it, pushing, and I score 4 touchdowns in the Ivy Championship. That's 4 touchdowns in a single game. That was me. Now, do you know the fight song? Yeah. Bulldogs, bow, wow, wow, Eli. Do you know it?
No.
Nope. Do you remember the game?
Nope.
I thought you were there. No? Well, that was my greatest accomplishment, personally. You keep kicking that soccer ball, kids. Have fun.
Then you can
Play
have
as many sports as you can. What are you guys waiting over there?
Yes.
Come on up.
We wanted to hear it all
We
day.
wanted to hear home.
Listen, I don't have anything like recorded or in my brain. I just throw it out there. I do the best I can, okay?
You're good.
All right, here we go. Celso Pierucci came to this country in 1852. He was educated at the University of Siena in Italy. Became a surgeon. We believe that he had to leave the country because he fought the revolutions over there. And of course, they didn't win the first time they did the revolution. So he comes to America in 1852. I'm getting pictures. They're taking pictures of me, babe. Anyway.
Smile.
I know. It's tough for me to do.
There you go, smile.
There you go. And you got me off my game now. No. So, 1861, he joins the Civil War. Becomes a doctor for them. He's on a gunship on the largest armada the country's ever had. And he went to Port Royal and Hilton Head, and he won that battle. But, oh, here comes an umbrella. You're the best. You're the best. So, he came here like a couple of years before his death in Knoxville. His contribution to the city of Knoxville in the area is his 2 sons. His 2 sons raised their families here. His oldest son, if you look at the name Celso, and you do it phonetically, it's C-H-E-L-S-O. Perucci is spelled P-E-R-U-C-H-I. That's how they Anglo their name. So Celso Perucci, the son, the oldest son, was the director of the Bijou Theater from like 1900 to like 1936.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Off and on, he also had a theater group, and he toured the country with the theater group, so it was pretty cool. And his other son, Alfisi Ferrucci, was the director and superintendent of Chilhowie Park until his death in 1913. So that's the contribution that this gentleman had to the city. Hi guys.
Hi.
I'm rolling here. I don't have a script, so you can holler at me anytime, okay? So he did that. I found this, the two graves are unmarked, found like 2017, 16, somewhere around there. And got this from the government, because he's a veteran, they gave it to him for free. And this one the family took care of. And this is my family. This is my great grandfather, that's my great uncle. So,
Wow.
yeah, so I'm Pierucci. The great thing the city did, though, when we got this stone in, one of the reenacting groups here said they wanted to do a little ceremony for the unveiling. Like, my cousin and I came here with their wives. They had the high school here, ROTC, the Boy Scouts here were full of the flag. They had a whole major turnout. TV cameras were here. They did a whole hour celebration, and they did a eulogy on him. It was pretty cool. He served so many years in the Navy, and then became a surgeon for the Corps d'Afrique. Everybody knows the history. It's before the Colored Army. So he was a regimental surgeon for them. Got married, took his wife back to Italy in 1864, and she died of yellow fever and came back here and met my great-grandmother. And here I am.
Awesome.
Pretty good for 23, ain't I?
What part of Italy were they from?
Siena? Tuscany? You been there?
Yes.
My favorite city. Is it? You going back?
I hope to.
I just left.
Work gets in the way.
Huh?
Work gets in the way.
Work gets in a lot of things, but live first, work later, right? Now, we were there, we go every year, so we were there for like 3 months, so, you know, my family's there. They won't give me any money because it's been 200 years,
But it's still family.
but still family. It's amazing, you know, it's amazing when you're back, but that's where he came from. He was educated at the University of Siena. So at that time, there was a lot of talk of revolution and things like that, and they made the university made a guard, and 54 students joined the guard, and 54 of those students went into battle. So, and he was one of them. Sometimes people don't think, you know. Babe, umbrella, look at it.
She brought us one.
I know.
Gotta need it soon.
Yeah.
I think that was keeps coming. Yes.
You guys have any questions or anything? Yeah? Okay.
I appreciate the story.
Thank you. There's a whole lot. Oh, you filmed me too?
Yes, I did.
Babe, I'm getting filmed and everything.
But the pipes is really drones. It's a bass drone and 2 tenor drones. And all they do is go, in the background, right? And then the song comes out of the chanter. And there's a double reed in the chanter and a reed in each of the drones. So that's like playing 4 clarinets at one time. And that would be crazy. So somebody discovered, put a bag for it. It's a reservoir of air pressure. I'll fill it up and let you touch the back, okay? Andy will touch it.
It's got a bunch of air in it.
It's loud. And the volume control button. Oh, that's right. We don't have the volume control button.
Neither does she.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. You seen bagpipes up close? Have you? Okay. Do you like Tennessee? Rocky Top?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
You were playing something else. What was it?
Star Wars.
watching out. You got to sing in the morning.
The doxology.
Oh, okay. I don't remember playing that, but I was playing Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, but I played the doxology. I'll play Rocky Top for then, and I'll figure out. Okay. Anyway, last night and this morning.
Wow.
Just about all wooed out.
Wow.
So let's see what time was that?
We heard it. We were walking in. It was probably an hour ago.
Well, there's different things for the doxology. So how many?
Yeah.
I'm gonna back it up because I'm really loud and I don't have a volume control, and I don't want to break your eardrums like mine. Huh?
Beautiful.
Request that song. That's a good one, isn't it? We sang that when I was a kid, even way back in the olden days. That's good. You're welcome. Y'all have a good day.
Y'all want to hear any of the history?
Sure.
We were waiting for you to come back.
Yeah. So who all have you heard from so far?
Oh Lord.
Did you hear him?
We heard him in
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah, ignore it. As he would probably
We
say.
heard
About.
some of her just now.
Yeah, we haven't really got to hear her whole
yet.
story.
You
And
haven't or
then
have?
Have not.
Okay, all right.
And we listened to the bagpipes.
The soldier down
soldier.
here.
Did you see the little boy?
We seen him walking around.
Oh yeah, he wasn't staying put very well. Yeah, that was my nephew. We're actually, a whole bunch of us are related out here today. That's my brother Lee, younger brother Lee, my baby brother Lee. Yeah, we didn't even know each other all that well, frankly. We grew up almost different generations. He was like, I was 15 when he was born, so I was out of the house before his formative years. Too bad. I could have helped him a lot.
Nah, he's a old man. Can't throw a football.
And wouldn't want
I
to.
could have ripped him.
No, he can throw a football. Y'all have or haven't heard this story?
I have.
Okay, yeah. Oh, he can spin a yarn, and most of it's true too. But most of it. Oh, well, I'm Calvin Morgan McClung. I'm the boring one. I'll try to keep it. I'm buried right there with my second wife, Barbara, there. I don't know if he mentioned our ancestors.
Some of it.
Yeah, well, the Colonel Charles McClung, our great granddaddy. He was brought to Knoxville by James White. He was the founder of Knoxville. He was also my great granddad.
Oh, nice.
Because he married Colonel McClung married his daughter, and that's how we're all related. But he brought him here to survey Knoxville, and he created the grid that's downtown, the whole layout for downtown, and that's what they used to divide the lots up and auction them off to build the city. He also surveyed the land that became Kingston Pike.
Oh, nice.
So he created that too. But yeah, we've got names that go all over the place. There's so many Charles McClungs that I can't. I'm the historian of the family, and I can't keep up with them all. You look at the family tree, you get cross-eyed after a while. There's so many. Well, and they kept throwing the McClung name as middle names for other side relatives here and there, and then we kept getting Lawson popped up a lot, and he. I married actually my third cousin. I lose track. Her great granddaddy was Colonel Charles McClung too. Annie McGee, her father was Charles McClung McGee. So there's those names, you know, just repeating over and over again. We like to say we were just keeping the money in the family. So.
Yeah.
But I talked some of that money out of my father-in-law. I got him to donate to establish the downtown library. It's in a new building now, more or less. But yeah, we established the library, and he named it after his daughter, Mary Lawson McGee. Mary had died just a couple of years before that, kind of tragically. She had a typhoid fever that took her before anyone even knew she was that ill, so quick. My wife also kind of died tragically. She was kind of a frail sort in every way. She physically and emotionally and even spiritually in a way. Well, actually, maybe she was pretty spiritually strong, I have to say. But she did mighty battle within herself about Christianity and Darwinism. She believed both of them, and she spent her life basically trying to sort out the conflict in her. She eventually became a Unitarian, which was pretty unusual back in those days. There weren't many of them in Knoxville. She died after she fell down a set of stairs. At least that's the way the family tells it. But enough said about that. I remarried Barbara there,
Yeah.
and she was like half my age and twice as smart. She was a brilliant woman. As you see, she outlived me quite a bit. I died in 1919, and she lived to the age of 97.
Wow.
In 1976. There are people who've been here today that had met her while she was still alive.
Wow.
But I also, I spent my whole life collecting. I was real bookish, and I collected history and genealogy and everything I could get my hands on. I spent a lot of money on it too. Worked for the McClung businesses all my life and never really wanted for money. And I spent a whole lot of it on history. I had such a massive collection that when I died, I donated it to the library, and it became the Calvin M. McClung collection, which is part of the East Tennessee Historical Society. Have you been to the museum downtown?
I have.
It's a wonderful museum. I've seen it myself. They've done wonders with it. If you go up to the third floor, that's where the collection is housed. And there's plenty of people up there. If you ever have anything you want to know, plenty of people that can help you find it up there. If it's up there, they'll find it. But yeah, y'all have heard her story, right?
Some of it. I haven't heard the whole thing.
Did you hear her talk about the lone grave?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, well I'll leave that for her to tell. It's kind of an urban legend that was popular throughout the 1800s, and it actually grabbed the interest of my brother there around the early turn of the century. Newspapers were beginning to. There was kind of a revival of the urban legend. The newspapers were printing stories. It was like all over from New York to Hawaii. There were stories printed about it, and she'll tell you more about all that. But the interesting thing about it, it was at this resort. The lone grave was at this resort in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. It was a mineral springs resort, and in its heyday in the early 1800s, people from all over. It was kind of called the Saratoga of the South. It was a really, really popular mineral springs resort. And this lady in the lone grave, basically the legend was that she had died dancing herself to death there at the spot. And anyway, I'll let her tell more about that. Our great-grandpappy had tuberculosis, and he spent every summer at this resort. And he eventually died there not long after the lone grave was established. And he was buried there. They actually started a little graveyard in a little out-of-the-way place away from the lone grave, which was right there at the resort. So Lee had heard me talk about it for years and how we ought to bring our ancestor back to Knoxville. You know, don't know why they left him there in the first place. And I never did anything about it. You know, I talked and talked. So it was partly as a favor for me, and partly as he was poking at me. He went to Harrodsburg, and of course he found the lone grave real easy because it was a shrine by then. I had to poke around in the sticks a bit to find our colonel ancestor. And he finally found him, and he had him exhumed and brought back to Knoxville along with his headstone. You can see them over there. Did I point out the McClung section of the graveyard over there? Where those streamers are, the red, white, and blue streamers? Over there, there's like 3 or 4 of those spikes with streamers on them over there, and they represent Lee and Belinda, and I think you, maybe even the colonel, I think he's got a flag over there. But anyway, that's kind of a little side story. I'm not sure either one of them will tell you all that much about. And the other thing I think my brother may not tell you about is he was, among other things, he was the Treasurer of the United States. And after Taft lost his re-election, he resigned pretty immediately. And probably it was because there was this round-the-world trip that was being sponsored. Yeah. And he had this wanderlust that was just legendary. He was constantly on the road traveling. He worked for the railroad too, which enabled a lot of that. But he decided to go on this tour, and he wrote to us saying he'd be back after it was over. But by the time that the tour ended in Europe, and they were about to embark back to America, he wrote home to say he was going to stay a little while longer and pal around Europe for a while. This wasn't anything unusual. We didn't worry about it. But that was also the same year, or just months later, that Franz Ferdinand, the Archduke of Austria, was assassinated in Sarajevo. If y'all know your history, that was the spark that lit the fire of World War I. We weren't too worried, at first. Lee could take care of himself pretty well. And he kept writing home saying, "Oh, I'm fine, everything's cool, I'll be home." And then by summer, we started getting these rumors spreading about Lee was ill. But he still wrote home and said everything was fine. So we, it was typical Lee. We didn't worry. Then by fall, the wire reports started coming out and hitting the newspapers around the region that he was seriously ill in London. So I had to do some digging because most of it was hearsay, and even the reporter didn't know much more than what he reported. We didn't know where in London he was, for instance, or we had some doubts that it was even London where he was at. We had assumed he was still in Berlin. But I finally tracked down some of his friends in New England that he'd written to, actually while he was in the hospital there in London. So we finally knew where he was exactly. And I braved the U-boats to sail over to England to get him. I arrived before he died, thankfully, and was able to spend the last weeks with him. He died December 19th, 1914. And I did him the same favor he did our ancestor, Colonel McClung. I brought him back to the States for burial here in Old Gray. We stopped in New York for a big service with his fame and all his connections throughout New England. We figured it was best to have the funeral there, or the service there, and then we buried him when he got back to Knoxville. You can visit him over there too. He's not far from the colonel over there. But yeah, I'm sure he has a different spin on things. We were, like I say, night and day pretty much. He may not be all that kind to me, from what I heard, but that's family for you.
Yeah, there's more to it than that, but I ain't going to discuss it now.
Oh, you can tell me.
I will, but only in private circle.
Oh, okay. So he's right to be a little sour about me.
No, but anyway.
But there's reasons.
Yeah. How's Robert?
Okay, the brother Robert.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't keep up with him as well. That memory kind of faded.
We'll leave that alone too then.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me later. All families. Can't live with them, can't live without them.